and welcome to Have a Chat. I am your host today, Veronique Arsenault, on this very dreary, kind of rainy, wet Monday in November. It seems odd to be saying it's a rainy, wet Monday in November, but here we are, joined by my, of course, incredible co-host, Judy Loge.
Well, it picks me up to see you, Veronique. It is dreary. November is one of my least favorite months. I do find it kind of heavy because there's nothing much happening. We're anticipating Christmas and all the fun that comes with that, and fall was beautiful.
Yeah.
But, just to be here in a bright set and beautiful Miramichi with the Rogers crew and you.
I know.
And our beautiful viewers.
I know.
Welcome.
I know, and we've got an incredible show as always, and I say that every week. We both say that every
Yes.
week, but it's true.
Uh-huh.
We get the best guests, honest to goodness. But
Yes.
Anyway, so lots going on, lots happening, but of course we're going to kick it off with your quote. I always love the quotes, because especially because you always find ones that I've never seen.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
always.
Well, like I said, just previous, I think the show passed. This one's hard to come up with a different one after 8+ years, right?
I know.
Okay. This one is, nothing makes a woman more beautiful than the belief that she is beautiful. And that's by the late, beautiful Sophia Loren.
Oh, she was stunningly gorgeous.
Yeah.
But it's true, it's funny, right? It's that, and it's so true, and it's hard. It's hard to believe that sometimes when you're, you've been in your sweatpants for 4 days and your hair's on top of your head and you haven't put makeup on in a month, and and then you think, okay, I got to go out. I can't let anybody see me. But you know what? When you, and for me, it's the weirdest thing, but. When I take that shower, when I know I have to go out, and I take that shower and I scrub my hair and I shave the legs and I, and then I put all the cream on and then I put the makeup on and I floof the hair as Patty Quinn calls it. He goes, "You floofed." I'm like, I did floof.
It's so cute.
And then I think I feel good.
Yes, and you feel beautiful.
And then it's a different look.
And I think when I read that, it's nothing makes a woman more beautiful than the belief that she is beautiful, can come from obviously your internal love for life even.
Yeah.
So if you're happy with the people around you, you're happy with your relationship, you're happy with your little puppies that snuggle up with you, you're joyful inside. And when you're joyful inside, the beauty comes through. And I know people that aren't aesthetically what you would call beautiful, but to me they are.
Absolutely.
Because they bring something joyful to my life, and just looking at them makes me feel happy. So I'm just going to throw it out there that, I'm just going to pick on somebody out there in the media, and that would be Jessica Parker.
Oh, yes.
Jessica, she has 2 names. Doesn't matter. She's a famous
gone now,
actress from Sex and the City.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just plain cute.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't say, oh, wow, look at her. She's just stunning. But you know what? She's beautiful because she's so darn animated and alive and always smiling and delightful, her character, and it makes her very beautiful.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker, and I should know that. You know what? It's a Monday. Forgive us if we're tired.
But you're right, and it's funny because when I think of my mother,
she is beautiful though.
She's gorgeous, no question. But she has this, but it's funny, she doesn't know it. She has this light that shines from her, and she is the kindest human on the planet.
She is.
Absolutely. But she has this light that shines from within, and she is the most beautiful woman.
I find her both beautiful on the
outside,
but beautiful, like you said, within. And she's like an angel. I've said that so many times in the show. And beauty is just knowing that you have something to offer and bring to the table in the way of your assets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So I like that. So thank you, Sophia Loren, for that.
Oh, I have it's a weird cough. It's so I was rushing to get here, and so trying to catch my breath, and so I've got this little tickle in the back of my throat. Not sick.
No.
Not sick.
Okay.
And haven't been around anybody that's sick, but I've got this little tickle in the back of my throat. But anyway, it's all good.
You're okay to get through it, because people from the other side of the camera don't realize that sitting at home in your living room, that sometimes just being here, you do get that tickle. There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
No.
Yeah.
Because we're live.
But can I just wish my dad a very happy birthday?
Oh, I love Ivan.
I know. And I know that Dad is probably watching this show along with my mom, because they're faithful viewers. And to me, he is the ultimate man, because Dad has been the rock in our family. Absolutely. I mean, my mom's a rock. Don't get me wrong. She's an incredible force to reckon with. But my dad, you know how they say he's a man's man? Yeah. Well, he's always been the one to pick up the pieces and doing everything, like all the hard stuff, and making sure that, we have the one brother, my one brother, his son, and he's been there to take him to every single sports event and cheer him on. And Dad, There's nobody funnier, I don't think, that I know in my lifetime besides maybe the late Robin Williams, because Dad would choke a dog. He's so
Absolutely.
funny, isn't he?
I love Ivan, and he makes everybody laugh around
Yes,
him.
he does, and has been going through some health issues, as many people are, but still stoic, and still I give him that little pep talk every day. Dad, you're still looking good, and you're still the most wonderful person. So just keep on rocking, Ivan, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday from all of us. We love Ivan, and I just want to wish you the best of days, and so you know what, you just celebrate all week. Get them to spoil you, and just really enjoy it. And happy birthday from all of us here at Rogers, but from everybody. We love you, Ivan. I know, I love him. So busy weekend as always.
Yeah, not for me so much. I'm tinkering around with Christmas stuff, and it's really, it does, I will admit, it gets me stressed out.
Yeah.
It should not be like that. It's boxes here and there, and cards. I do still write cards out. I think I'm one of the old-fashioned people that still do. Instead of texting everybody, I do that too.
Yep.
But writing cards out and little letters, I'm trying to make time for getting parcels, which take a long time to get ready, because I'm sending have sent to my sister overseas, and you don't know when that might get there.
That's right.
And I'm just going to share this with everybody. You've all been to the post office in recent days. Well, for me to send Jen and Matt's parcel was going to be, to get it there just kind of in a rush way, $194. And I thought, wow, baby.
Wow.
Because what I sent to me were lovely gifts, and then to pay almost $200 to get it there,
Ouch.
she'd be mad at me if I did that.
Ouch.
So they said, if you just send it through the ground and it will get there probably before Christmas. That's what I chose to do, and it was still well over $100.
That's incredible.
I know, pinch.
That's incredible.
Ow. So then, what I find funny too is I'm trying to get a few things up here and there for the Christmas holidays. The tree's standing, but it's not decorated, it's artificial. And the dog is in her glory, trying to figure out what's going on.
Of course she is.
And trying to bite the ornaments and
Yeah.
trying to pot the tree. And she's really good, but I have to keep her out of those rooms.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
So it's Winston's first Christmas. No, actually, it's his second Christmas. He was only about 3 months old and 2.5 pounds during the first Christmas, because he had just come like the 20th of December. He came to live with us.
Close to Christmas.
Yeah, he came to live with us the 20th of December. So he peed on the Christmas tree.
That's bad.
Yesterday.
Oh, very neat.
Yesterday.
How do you, literally on the base of it so it smells now like dog pee?
Yes. So I was like, oh, and he is the smartest little fella. But I'm like, no,
I know, reaction.
right? And he's looking at me like, what? This is what I'm doing. It's a tree. Of course I'm peeing. Like, obviously.
It's cute.
Like,
too cute to get mad
He
at.
is so cute, and so this thing, I have to get it on camera because he is the smartest pup.
Yeah.
So he likes to be on top of things now. So this is lately in the last 2 weeks. So he's discovered that on top of the table in the kitchen is food, right?
Oh,
That's where
ours
we
had
eat.
discovered that long ago.
Right? That's where we eat. So now what he does is he gets under the table and then slams his little body against the chair until it pushes out far enough. He does it repeatedly until it pushes out far enough so that he can jump onto the chair and then onto the table.
Okay, that's very smart.
So I was like,
devious.
I was at the other side of the kitchen making something, and I turned around because I heard the chair kind of, and I'm like, and I'm watching him do it, and I'm like, you little turkey. So now we've had to clear everything off the table. It's all on the kitchen island because we're worried anyway.
But so smart.
So smart.
They are very naughty.
But he peed on the Christmas tree.
Well, I'm sorry for you. I didn't have that happen yet. Zara's really pretty well behaved, I guess. I should be kind.
Yeah, no, not my little
And
fella.
did you go to the dinner theater on the weekend? Because
We
I
did.
couldn't go. I had other things that
Yes.
were piling up I had to get done. So tell us about that.
So Friday night, a bunch of us went, the girls, and we call ourselves the Semi-Sweethearts. And so the girls and their partners' husbands, and Mom and Andrea and I, and had a wonderful time. It was, oh my goodness, they were funny, they were engaging, great buffet meal.
Good.
Great buffet
Means
meal.
a lot, the
Oh
food.
yeah, it was turkey and ham and all those wonderful things. And
Nice.
yeah, it was nice to get out and have a laugh. And we
Dress
got a
up?
little dressed up. I was all sparkly, and it was fun.
And it makes you, that's what sort of makes it what Christmas is really about, is
Yeah.
celebrating and leading up to, the celebration of Christmas, is being with people in a fun way.
Absolutely.
And just getting out, because we've been through some dark times. We're still in it. The pandemic's still, it's still on, and it's not going away.
No, and it's such a hectic time of year. Like I don't have kids, but it's still hectic, right? We've got family and trying to navigate all of that, and work is still busy, and and council is still busy, and yeah, it's a tough time of year.
And it's the everyday stuff. You still have to feed your family. You still have to do the groceries. You still have to change your beds. You still have to do, and we all are doing it. All the viewers are doing it too. But my heart goes out to the parents of small children who, with the inflation, just cannot afford to get those things on the children's wish list, and it breaks my heart. Now, as adults, I know I don't need anything, and when my family says, "What can I get you?" I don't want anything, like nothing, zero. And they're like, "Well, we have to get you something." No, you do not. We have, my kids have, my husband has. We don't need anything. But for those little children that look for that little gift or 2 or 3 wrapped up, special requests under the tree, my heart, like, let's just give to those families that we know have kids that would love something like that.
Well, absolutely. And I just, like, do not need anything. I don't want anything. My house is already full of so much stuff.
I'll take it back.
Yeah,
then.
like, you always give good ones though. But I just, I don't need anything. And for me, so many of my gifts in the last couple of years have been focused on making some memories, right?
Yes.
With my friends and family. So, but you're right. The incredible work that the Christmas Hampers do, and Salvation Army, and so many other organizations out there, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and all that, around trying to get kids some gifts around that time of year. And I never realized when I was a kid, right? But it must have been so tough because. You always, when you come back from Christmas break, the teacher would always ask, or you'd do a little paragraph or writing exercise on what did you do over the Christmas holidays, or what did you get? And I never realized at that time I was lucky. I had a family that was able to, not a lot, provide gifts, because we were a working family always, but I always knew I was going to have something under the tree. So it must have been so tough for those kids that came back to school, after Christmas and didn't get to take part in all of that, and so I think about that often now. Of course, you get more empathetic, I think, as you get older. And realize, I guess. So yeah, it's hard. It's a hard time of year. It's a hard time of year for a lot of people for a lot of reasons, but do what you can,
give.
I guess.
The key word is give.
Yeah.
We don't have to take, we can give, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, so Black Friday, though, last Friday. So it was Thanksgiving in the U.S.
Yeah, and today's Cyber Monday.
Right.
Even though this show will air all week, we are live today at Rogers and Miramichi. But I'm not a big shopper online, but I know that many, many, many people are. I'm going to say and brag about it, I did all of my shopping locally.
Yes, yeah.
How do you like that?
Absolutely.
I went to every store that I could honor on the Miramichi River and went in and picked gifts that I thought were very special for people, and I'm very proud of myself for supporting local.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes you just can't get what you
Absolutely.
You just can't get what you want and what your family needs, perhaps. So Amazon, and online and these sales that are terrific are the way to go when you know that something's going to cost like $200 one week, and then you're going to have it drop like 20, 30% the next week.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it's funny, you and I years ago were in the States for Black Friday. It was
my gosh,
probably about 10 or 12 years ago.
Didn't like it.
It was insanity. I would never do it again.
No.
But you know what? And I think over the years, Black Friday has kind of evolved into that. You get Black Friday month and Black. So it's not quite the same.
You could get black eyes
I
now.
know. And like we were in Macy's in New York at 5:30 in the morning.
I don't think I was.
Well, Mom and I were.
You were, but I probably joined you later because that wouldn't be me. I couldn't.
No, it wasn't. I wouldn't do it again.
I will never do it again.
No, I wouldn't do it again for sure. But anyway, listen, I hope you all get some great gifts out there.
Yes.
And and stores in Canada do the same now, and it's kind of taking on a different meaning. So yeah, I hope you get some great deals.
Do we have time? I did jot down some of the things that.
Yes. Yeah, we have a couple minutes left.
We're okay, so I'm going to go through really quickly. Some of the gifts that are perhaps you will find on sale today, if you didn't already, that are popular for Christmas 2022.
Yep.
Let's go through them real quick. Cloud slides are for men and women. They're slippery that it's just like a pillow at your feet. I've never seen them.
They're not attractive.
Okay, but comfort.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I don't find them attractive.
No, okay, then I won't get you those.
Yep.
All right. For women, the 14 karat gold, they'd be a little bit expensive, but on sale now. 14 karat gold hoop earrings in all sizes.
Okay.
So they want the ladies are liking the look this year of simple and stylish.
Yep.
This is neat, Veronique. I wrote a book about you. Is a very new thing, and it's a fill-in-the-blank book.
Oh.
So if you wanted to write something to your dad or your mom, or I wanted to write about my sister or another loved one, it's creating your own personalized present.
Oh.
So I love about you this and the memory of this and that.
I love that.
I like that too. The mini pocket projector is pretty cool.
Yes, I have seen those.
I've never seen one.
I've seen those.
So it can easily connect to an iPhone or Android phone to watch a movie, give presentations, or game on the big screen.
Giddy up.
I like that. A 3D moon lamp is excellent for your tween or teen, probably the daughter. It glows. It's like a night light, but it's also very cool. It gives you kind of like a universal theme in your room.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fun too for people you don't know what to get for. The hairdryer brush, do you have one?
Yes, I do.
I do not have one.
I do.
It's for the bouncy, frizzy hair.
Yep.
Okay. The letter necklace, so whether it's just, VA, your initials, or a personalized I Love Mom, they're very big this year.
Nice.
So the personalized necklaces, it can be customized to whatever. And mini waffles, we had that on our list last year.
Really?
Oh, mini waffle maker.
Interesting.
I have no interest in
No,
it.
me either.
But they're popular because they can do hash browns and cookies. They can also do eggs.
Sure.
So the mini waffle maker. Rechargeable hand warmers. So if you're at a hockey game, you're watching, cheering on our local hockey teams or they're very tiny. They keep your hands warm. You can sit in the stands or at any kind of an event.
Yeah.
The Christmas parade.
Well, so yes, absolutely.
Get that in.
Well, and that's the thing. It's coming up on Friday the 2nd, so just at the end of this week. So it starts at 6:30, kicks off. It is the 35th annual, and there will be a quiet zone again this year, which is great for those who need some, a little bit, an area where, the music isn't so loud and things you can process that a little bit better and still enjoy. So, 35th annual kicks off this Friday. I will be emceeing.
I was going to ask you. I won't be away, but I would be there to support the parade if I could be. And you do a beautiful job at that, Veronique.
Lots of fun.
So happy.
Yeah, lots of fun. So looking forward to it and glad that it's back this year. And we hope to see you out. So we're just heading into our break now. We have 2 amazing guests that are going to talk to us this afternoon. We always luck out, as I say, all the time. So don't go too far, everybody. Get something a little bit warmer right now and warm up, dry off, and come on back and sit down and have a chat with us. So we'll see you right after the break. Thanks, everybody. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I am your host today, Veronique Arsenault, of course, joined by my wonderful co-host, Judy Loge.
My pleasure to be here with you and everybody.
So glad to be here on a Monday. Now, it is a rainy Monday, but that's okay.
No snow, Vero.
I know, and it's supposed to be nice all week, fairly-ish.
Good.
Yeah. Now, we have an incredible guest that is joining us for this segment, and Colette, it was quite a while. It's been 5 years since you were here with us. I can't believe it's been that long.
No.
But we are so pleased to have you back, and we welcome Colette Martin back to our stage, our set. Here we are.
Our world,
our Have a Chat world. But Colette, for those, and we love you, absolutely, and we get to see you in the real world, which is wonderful. But for those who don't know you out in our viewing audience, tell us a little bit about you.
I'm from Basin Ann, where I lived most of my life. I have 3 beautiful boys and a very supportive family.
Beautiful. And many friends.
Many friends.
She has so many people on her Facebook wall. It's like you have your own community.
I know.
I'm so lucky.
Unbelievable.
How old are your boys?
Justin will be 31. Evan just turned 19, and Cole will be 14 in January.
Okay. Beautiful boys.
Yeah.
They should be proud of him, and I know you are.
Very.
Colette, for the viewers who don't know, is an intimate partner violence survivor. And when I say survivor, I say she sure is. When I hear your story, it gives me goosebumps every time. And you're also a very, very huge advocate for intimate partner violence. So, as Veronique said, you were here 5 years ago, and just kind of getting it in your, being to talk about your horrific experience of violence against you, and that you had to fight for your life.
Yes.
So you did. So for anyone who missed that show or who does not know you, can you just please take your time and walk us through that terrible part of your life and what happened?
Yeah, I met my boyfriend in January of 1996. We went out for probably 10 months, maybe. I let him move in with me after 7 months. And then in end of October, November, I kicked him out because he was starting to get really crazy. So I figured that he wasn't the father of my child, and anyway, we didn't have to put up with that.
Right.
That was his problem, not mine. So I put him out. He moved back away where he was from, and we started a life. We started a happy life, me and my son. And so he moved back to Montreal, where he was from. I went on with my life and really enjoying myself. Started working for my father. It was a great business. I traveled everywhere, and working with people was my life. So I was very happy. He moved back from Montreal to Moncton, and he lived there. He moved in with a new girlfriend, went on with his life, but he always would send me letters or call. He had left stuff behind. He'd come and check. He'd call me to tell me he was coming to get some stuff, and he never did. Like, he came a couple of times to pick up a few things, but then this one night on May 1st, 1997, he called and said he was coming to get a few things. Well, that night I thought, well, I don't want any trouble, so I'm going to call my cousin to come and stay the night with me. So my cousin was staying in the next room. My son was sleeping with me. And at around 11 o'clock, we went to bed. And I'll never forget the time, exactly 11:40. I can still see the clock. I looked at the time. When the door smashed down, I looked up, and he was standing there, and it was the scariest thing I've ever seen. It was just like a monster.
Nightmare.
He had no, there was no white in his eyes. It was just like two black holes. And then all of a sudden, I looked back at him, and I saw that he was looking at a knife drawer, because he lived there with me for a while. So I knew that's where he was headed for. So I tried to get there before him. I could still see myself hitting his hands to try and make him drop the knife, but he took the biggest knife in the drawer, turned me around. It was just like a movie, and everything's in slow motion. And he slit my throat from, started over here, all the way over here. I struggled, so it ripped over here. Then the first thing he told me was, tonight's the night you're going to die.
Oh my goodness.
So I kept looking at him and thinking, what's he talking about? I still couldn't understand. You know, like I got my cousin to come and stay with me because I didn't feel comfortable, and that little voice was telling me. So you always listen to that little voice, because if your gut is telling you to be careful, it's because it's telling you the truth. Anyway, so I ran for my life. He kept dragging me back. And while I was running to get away from the house so I could keep my son safe, my cousin was calling the police. So finally, after not very long, the police landed. And
it must have seemed like it took forever, though.
It did seem like it was forever. That night was really, and it wasn't long. But for me, it was really long, because everything was really slow. So the police, I could see the lights from, I lived not far from the main road, and I could see the lights coming. And he had just stabbed me 37 times, slit my wrists, slashed my legs. And when I saw the police lights, I thought, well, I told them, you're done. They're going to put you in jail now. So he dropped the knife. And that was the third knife that he used on me.
But the thing is, how you were bleeding almost to death.
I was, but I ran. I never gave up.
Oh,
I know.
Well, that's just unbelievable. And that's why I'm so super proud of you for even being here today.
So he dropped the knife. I picked it up and I ran to the road with the knife, because I didn't want him to cut me anymore. But when the police got there, I looked guilty. He had just slashed his throat and slit both of his wrists. And he told the police that I had done that to him. So I was sitting in the police car for a few minutes until my cousin came running out, and my sister got there, and they told the police that I didn't do anything. So, and that was fine. They had to do what they had to do to pretend, to see what was going on. Like they needed to hear
They
you
didn't
know.
know.
No,
They came
no.
up on the situation.
Exactly, and it
didn't
wasn't.
know, and didn't know what had happened.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So it didn't take long before I was
Yeah.
out and in the ambulance, and then I was transported to the hospital here, where I was treated very well.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I can't. I'm horrified by it, and I've heard your story before, but I'm horrified by it. But I also amazed by you and your, how you were able to process to, one, get him away from the house, from your child and your cousin, for your cousin to be able to do, to call the police and everything, and to also to have the compassion to know that they had to do what they had to do when they arrived. But how long, for those who may be out there struggling, and we know that there's intimate partner violence, against men. There's intimate partner violence against women, and it's not gender specific for sure.
And it's people watching the show today that can hear this message.
Absolutely.
That if you're listening, please know that she's here with some hope.
Yeah. So, for those who are listening out there, who maybe themselves or maybe know someone, talk to us about your recovery and what did that look like, and how long did it? How did you get back to you?
It's been a very long road, but with the help of the doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, I've had really good doctors.
Your mom?
Yeah, my parents, my family. I've been lifted up by so many people, like all of you. All of you have helped. Like everybody's had a little part in this. Everybody told me that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. It was very hard for me to see that at the beginning. I never thought I'd ever make it here.
Yeah.
But this is the most beautiful. Like, I can't believe that such a trauma would bring me to such a beautiful place in my life, and I would do it all over again.
Well, we follow each other on social media, and you are using your story to help so many others, and that is the purest form of, empathy and kindness and giving, in that using what you went through to try and help others around you. And I'm amazed by you, Colette.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So after this horrific experience, there's so many words I could use, but horrific is what keeps coming to my mouth. How long before you were able to even go out in public, do anything remotely that you had done before in the way of living, and start talking to the public about your story, like telling, I know, you've told me intimately, but other people intimately and even publicly?
For the first 10 years, I have to say that my life is a blur. Like, I really don't remember a lot of it. But the only thing I do remember is that I never gave up. I always fought to be here, because why would I fight so hard to live that night and just give up, right? So that's why, and I always had somebody there to lift me up and tell me not to give up. So the first time I ever spoke publicly was in Eel Grande First Nation. I had friends there, and they were having a Women's Day. And that day, they had all the students from NBCC Miramichi, and it was all the first responders. So it was the best. So she asked me if I'd come, and I did go. And I cried so much that my eyes were swollen shut for, I'd say, a couple of weeks. I even went to the hospital. I thought something was wrong. Yeah. I thought I'd had a stroke or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I looked like a monster, because my eyes were so swollen. My forehead was swollen, the underneath of my eyes. It was really bad. But I think that's when the trauma was starting to come out, right? As soon as I opened my mouth and wasn't silent anymore, that's when it started I started to bloom. So then I did a lot of work with NBCC Miramichi here. I was invited, like Patty Michaud helped me with a lot of that stuff. She was the outreach worker back then. And she really helped me with that stuff. And I would go and tell my story, and it was very hard. And it is still very hard. And I don't think you heal from this, but you never forget it. And you find little tricks, like if I feel like if I have a bad day, like I'll turn on the music, I'll dance, I'll sing, I'll do stuff that make me happy, I'll walk, and this journey has been very hard, But I'm here to tell people that you never give up because I made it.
Yeah.
And if I can, with everything I've gone through, everybody else can.
You are absolutely one of the strongest women and friends I have. Inspiring, like 100% plus inspiring, because I know that it wasn't just this that happened to you that changed your life and made you stronger, literally, to live through it and bring your story to everybody that should be listening and knowing there's hope. But you also lost your mother, then you and that was your best friend, and then in your support system, and then you also went through cancer, and you had to go through all this during COVID. So how much more resilient can you get than Colette Martin sitting right here on the stage?
Thank you.
And I'm not going to make you emotional, but Colette, was that the point when you were in lockdown during COVID that you actually could reflect and say, where am I going to go from here?
Yeah, what all started at was on my mom's deathbed. She told me to get rid of everything that hurt me. And then COVID started a couple of months after. And I thought, what did she mean? What did she mean?
Yeah.
So I thought, I know there's a message in here,
Yeah.
and I need to figure it out. So I thought about it for like a whole year. And one day, and I talked about it with my son, Evan. And one day he got up and he said, Mom, I know what we got to do. So I said, okay. He said, here's my laptop and we're going to start writing your story. And that's how it started.
Yeah,
so then I reached out to some people that I knew that would be able to help me, like give me some pointers on, you know. So then I was referred to a lady in St. John, Terry Ann Richard, and she mentored me for free of charge because she believed in me.
Beautiful.
And she believed in my story.
Yeah.
Well, it's such a powerful story.
Yeah,
it's not just like you were
And-
injured slightly. I
yeah.
mean, this was as bad as it gets.
Yeah. And so from there, she told me, make yourself a empowerment page on Facebook and start doing social media and start writing your story and just keep going and write. And then like people started noticing when I was writing stuff on my social media, and people were starting to support me and stuff. And you know, like I was really shamed for a lot of years because of what I was told by a professional that he asked me what I did to deserve what I got. And he told me that things like these don't happen to good girls. And I already felt
Oh my gosh,
a lot of
I want to
shame.
vomit.
I already felt a
worst.
lot of shame because when you go through stuff like I went through, you already blame yourself because you think, what could I have done?
Yeah,
you know,
what
maybe
did I miss?
What
Yeah.
did I, and what could I have done
Yeah.
to prevent this? And if I wouldn't have been so nice, if I would have said, you know, but I didn't want to hurt anybody, so that's why I would let him come back to retrieve the things that he had left behind. So, so then with this new me, I just decided that I was going to do what I had to do. I wasn't going to be scared anymore because I've been living in fear for the last 25 years of my ex coming back. But you know what? I fought so hard that there's no way I was ever going to give up.
You're not
So
gonna
there's
give up.
nothing's going
No.
to scare me anymore.
In our last 2 minutes,
Aw.
Colette, because it's flown by, but in our last 2 minutes, what are the impacts that you're seeing on people out there?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I have been working with outreach, domestic outreach Chaleur. They've gave me a grant, like to do work with them.
Yeah.
I just went to Fredericton at the House of Legislature. I was just recognized and acknowledged for helping pass Bill 17, which is similar to Claire's Law. And if Claire's Law would have been enforced when I was going through this, I would have known that my ex had previous charges. He had broke the jaw of his ex-girlfriend, but I didn't have no way of knowing all of
Right,
this.
of course.
But by knowing this, I could have helped. So this bill is really going to help us.
Yes. You're in the newspapers, you're in the Why campaign.
Yeah.
Where can people, so Empowerment Colette, and
Yeah.
I mean, you're everywhere on social media,
I am.
and you're telling your story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love
And
you.
listen, for anybody out there who may be in the situation or know somebody is, please do reach out. There are resources there to help. There are people who can help you. I'm sure Colette would direct you at least to the right place to go and find that help. And we want you to be safe. Nobody should be in that position. So don't go too far. We still have another fantastic guest, but we want to thank Colette for being here with us today.
Our warrior.
Yep.
you.
grab a coffee, and we'll see you in a moment. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I am your host today, Veronique Arsenault, of course, joined by my wonderful co-host, Judy Loge.
Yeah, and for the viewers that are just tuning in to Have a Chat, that last segment with Colette Martin got me very emotional. She's a powerhouse, and she's to be,
I don't know how
she's to
it
be
couldn't.
applauded very loudly for overcoming what she overcame and being such an amazing advocate out there for women of
Absolutely.
domestic violence, interpartner
Absolutely.
violence.
I don't know how you could watch that segment and not be emotional.
No.
So, incredible woman, no question, and we are joined by another incredible woman.
Yes.
So on this segment, we have Patty Deach. Welcome, Patty. And Patty is the co-chair of the Community Inclusion Network. But for those out there who don't know you, tell everybody a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, I'm not a Miramichi original. I was born and brought up in Ontario. And I'm one of 4 children. And from the time I was about 3 years old, I wanted to be a nurse. So that's what happened. I grew up. I went to Toronto. I lived north of Toronto in a wee village. And I said to Judy earlier today that if the population was about 300 if you counted all the cows in our
The cows,
village.
that's funny.
So I went to the big city and I did my initial education in nursing and graduated and loved my work. I took a year and a half to travel around the world. I came back to Ontario and there was no work.
Oh,
Yeah. So change in plan. I was reading an article in the Reader's Digest about the St. John Market. I saw an ad for nurses in St. John.
Yeah.
And I said, well, they have a nice market.
Yeah.
I guess I'll move there.
perfect.
Yeah, why not?
And so I worked in St. John for a couple of years. I loved it. And, I sort of moved around a little bit and then ended up in Chatham, as it was called then.
Yes.
I've never heard of Chatham before.
No.
But anyhow, we settled in. 2 of my children were born in Chatham. One was born in St. John and one was born in Kingston. So, yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
So, yeah. So they've grown up and moved off to follow their journeys, their life journeys. And I just continued to work and
Give back to our community.
We got to keep you.
yeah.
Remember, she got to keep you.
And I've really been fortunate. I think that Miramichi has offered me a lot of opportunities in terms of doing nonprofit work. I was involved with when we established Miramichi Youth House. I was part of the inception
Excellent.
of that. We had a breastfeeding support group that still some of my friends and I sort of keep in touch from that, and that was a long time ago. I've been involved in a number of, I suppose you would say, things that probably are about the well-being of children, health, and how we face poverty. So I had the opportunity while working for 11 years with the University of New Brunswick in Bathurst. I worked in the community health section, and my students were doing really incredible things in terms of working with populations that perhaps really experienced hardship or
Yeah.
That's and I guess that's where my heart lays.
And you know, I'll just say it because I know your work and have been around you certain times. And she's an exceptional nurse, now retired, but you gave 49 years
49,
of your life to as a career, which is such a calling.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And a beautiful, compassionate nurse that did top-notch work. So thank you for all those years of giving
thank
back
you.
to the patients of our region and beyond our region. So Patty, you are the co-chair of the Community Inclusion Network. Now, I'm not really familiar with all of that and what it entails, and maybe the viewers aren't. So could you just share with us a bit about
I would love to.
job?
First thing I want to say about being part of this network is that I have the opportunity of working with really wonderful people. So our coordinator is Sylvie Roussel, and Sylvie is one of those forces of nature. She's goodness personified. She's been involved in community work, outreach for a lengthy period of time, and she has an incredible energy and ability to network. So amazing. And then the other co-chair is Lucy Chasson.
Oh, yes.
And Lucy is known to many people for all the work she's done. She's been involved in all kinds of community endeavors. And I don't think I could list them all, but it's so I have these two incredible women that I'm working with. Plus, there are other members of our committee that are committed. So I think it's always really important to acknowledge the wonderful people you're with. So in terms of so what is the how did this come about? Around the year, I think it was around 2008. Businesses and perhaps the politicians, certainly government agencies, those who experience poverty, and the people within the community who were working with those who experienced poverty and were nonprofit groups were really concerned about the level of poverty and how it was impacting our province, the residents of our province. So they had working groups and came up with some plans. So these plans, they were called OPT, Overcoming Poverty Together. So in order to make sure that you can start something off, but sometimes it kind of trickles away.
Yes.
They established the Economic and Social Inclusion Corporation. So that was, if you will, the provincial body. And then under that, they established community inclusion networks, and there were 12 of those established. And so it was very interesting because each of the community inclusion networks would be aware of, if you will, what the signable, what things we should be working for, but would be probably doing it differently in each community because of just the makeup of the community. And so there'd be a communication going back and forth from ESIC to the community inclusion networks. And it's been very, very good to see what's happened. So what we would say is that it brings all the sectors of the community together in order to facilitate, encourage, and really get things going in the community.
Good, great.
Yeah. A lot of networking.
I remember when it was developed. At the time, I was still with the Chamber of Commerce at the time, and we got to sit around the table originally. So I remember when that all happened, and it was such a focus at that time. So great to see that it's still continuing at this point.
Yeah. And so as life changes, again, it's changing because the community inclusion networks are going under the regional service commissions now, but our mission remains the same. We're really working on the same things. So we're always looking at programs that will help with poverty, overcome the obstacles people face. So we can have some funding that can go for those events and activities and networking. And then we seek to fund different sources so that the projects can be ongoing. So each community inclusion network is provided with a certain amount of funding each year. So how that goes out will depend upon the community.
There's so much poverty. It breaks my heart. I hear about it, see about it, and read about it every day.
Well, it's tough, right? But something that's come about is the Isthmus program. In my head, it sounded better. But why was it so important to open a chapter here?
Well, I guess what I would say initially was the Isthmus program it's new here. Our chapter was established in 2022, but I think that Moncton they've been going for over a decade now.
Okay.
They've had it. So it's Isthmus Canada is sort of, the main, and they have different chapters around Canada. And it was initially known as Blessings in a Backpack.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
So what it is isthmus is that piece of land that brings the two pieces of land together, right? So the idea is that children go to school and they may have food programs Monday to Friday, then nothing on the weekend, then we're back to Monday and Friday. And it's heartbreaking to think that many children attend school hungry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so when we look at our statistics, our provincial statistics tell us that the use of food banks, so we have 33% of our children are in families that depend upon the food banks.
33%.
So one in three. So, you just think about, Judy, you just think about when your little boys were in school. Yeah. And if you asked one out of every three child to stand up, that's...
That's heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
It is. And sometimes we have to really almost envision that to
do.
think what that number is. And the increase since March of, I think, 2019 has been 35% usage of the food bank. So we know there's a great challenge for families. So while we have the school programs, we had nothing on the weekend. So Isthmus Canada is the hunger doesn't take the weekends off. So Isthmus is a unique results-oriented program that was developed to feed school-aged children whilst they were not in school on the weekends.
Right.
I've spoken about the statistics, and we know that it's becoming. Just going shopping. If you're looking at even one or two things like price of milk.
Oh yes.
Just going up.
Yeah. Eggs and everything.
Yeah. Everything's going up. So we know that the food costs are escalating. We also know, and I know, Veronica, you really are aware of this because of the work you're doing within the council, is the housing issues.
Absolutely.
Big issue.
A very big issue. So people are having to make choices between maybe paying their rent and putting food on the table. And then we have, for many people, salaries that have remained stagnant or have never been enough at any point.
Right.
And so what was interesting was when I was thinking about this presentation was that we are finding now the usage in food banks is now more than ever two-parent families. Like that didn't used to be so much the case, but that's really increasing because people are working. They just don't have enough to make it. And then now we're seeing things that where the supply chain has been impacted. And so the food isn't even there. The affordable food isn't even there. So it's been a very difficult thing. Isthmus Canada is the only charity to provide weekend food for children that are living with food insecurity. So as I said, our chapter began August 2022. There was a gentleman I talked to during one of the election campaigns, and he was talking about this food and these blessings in the backpack. So I had to do the research, and eventually I landed with Isthmus in Moncton and spoke to Tara, who is the coordinator of that. And Tara volunteered to help us last year with one of our schools.
Wonderful.
And so we had, and while she did that, we got, there are requirements for becoming a chapter. You have to have enough funding to last you for 3 years.
Wow.
You have to have a partner and who will help you purchase the food in bulk,
Yep.
store it, and provide a place where you can pack it. So none of this would be possible on our river except for Mount St. Joseph.
Okay.
So when I spoke to Debbie Walls and Joanne Jardine, they said, absolutely, we can make this work. And you know, there's a real focus from Mount St. Joseph on community. So we started meeting and deciding how we were doing this, and then communicating with Isthmus Canada. We got everything established in August, and presently we are working with 2 schools and packing 30 bags.
Good to hear.
It's amazing. So in our last 2 minutes, because we're that quick, in our last 2 minutes, how does the public help you?
Okay, easy peasy. They can get in touch with either me, Sylvette, or Lucy, and ask us about that. We're looking for partners to help us pack, to help to give us fund donations, and there is I gave the particular site that you can get in touch with.
Yeah. Okay.
For donations, and immediately once you donate, you get a tax receipt right back. So it's not difficult or onerous.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm giving on behalf of all my family this year.
Yeah.
Great.
Great gift.
Perfect.
Yeah. We were
I was
talking
thinking
about
about Christmas gifts.
What to
gifts
give?
earlier.
That's perfect.
That's amazing. Yeah. No. Listen, Patty. It's incredible what's happening, and you know, we saw it escalate, of course, during the pandemic, where you know, food was not available in the schools because the kids were home, and it's just been tough, you know, and tough seems like such a soft word in this case, but amazing to know that the Isthmus program is there and that we can donate and support, and it's a great Christmas present from all of us, absolutely.
And
but
thank you.
In the last 30 seconds or so, Patty, anything that you want to add?
Just that I hear people talking about how we make our communities, you know, better, and I think we talk about children being the future. The future is right now.
Yes.
And so we all have to think about how do we support our children so they have
Fantastic.
healthy lives.
Perfect.
Thank you to both of our amazing guests, and we hope you enjoyed today's show. Go out and have a great week, and we'll be thinking of you, and hope you're enjoying it all, but think of others as well. Thanks everybody for being viewers, and we wish you the best this week. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Patty.